The Zimbabwe leather sector strategy was developed in response to a government and private sector request to revive the national leather sector and regain its glory past. In 1999, Zimbabwe produced 17 million pairs of all types of footwear, and it was the first country in Africa to be awarded the franchise for Nike, Reebok, Puma, Adidas, and other major international brands. Today, unfortunately, many tanneries have shut down and Zimbabwe has become net importer of footwear.
The hides in the rural areas, you normally use them for making those, the ropes, or we just put them away because we don't have much use of it there. If you can only know the value of the hides, it would be better for us. For right now, we leave them here, we don't know the price. Actually, to us, it's not even important.
I know that in the past was very good quality of hide compared with another country in Africa, but today we need to just support the farmer.
The Zimbabwe leather sector strategy was developed using a participatory and multi-stakeholder-led approach, whereby more than 100 representatives from the entire value chain worked together to identify the main issues affecting the leather value chain and proposed response objectives on the basis of market priorities and development objectives.
The private sector is implementing the strategy by not waiting for the final document to be launched or to be out, because they've already realized the benefits of the issues that are being discussed in the strategy. We are already out as an industry, training the farmers on the value of the hide. If we look at these hides that we have right here, right now, these are the hides that we had predominant during the launch of this program. We had quite a number of hides going to waste, and in the process, we've since managed to improve the flaying techniques by going to the farmers and showing that they've got to reduce the number of or eliminate issues of flay cuts, eliminate issues of holes, and keeping the hides in the proper shape and very clean, and as displayed here.
The participatory methodology has fostered a mechanism where the private sector became the actor and the public sector the facilitator. The strategy thus responds to private sector needs while contributing to the national and regional development priorities.
The role of the committee is to be the catalyst between both the private and the public sector to re-engage with all the people in that value chain, to ensure the results of a re-established industry and to rekindle the potential of growing the revenue base throughout the nation.
I think the first achievement has been the ability to work together. When people come from different areas and have different interests, it's always very difficult for them to focus on the same thing. And the committee clarified what we were to do, which was to look at the whole value chain.
The leather sector is one of the priority sectors that we identified in our industrial development policy 2012-2016. The key role that government needs to play has to do with the addressing the issue of exports of hides and skins, and make sure that we value add our hides and skins, and in so doing we'll be supporting the implementation of this leather strategy. At the same time, the imported components that we are getting to the sector to manufacture, we need to remove duty so that we are competitive. We have to make sure that the tanneries that closed in the past 12 months are reopened and process that leather to the next level before we export. The program did live up to expectation. In fact, I've often said this was a good example of how government and private sector would work together.
Through the participatory process, value chain stakeholders were able to assess profitability of business and identify supply-side constraints and market potential. This information helped stakeholders to estimate the value generated by the leather sector, approximately $82.2 million in 2011, and its contributions to the economy of approximately $31.7 million. To revitalize the leather sector, value chain stakeholders have identified the following response objectives. Objective 1. Strengthen value chain networking, coordination, and policy advocacy. Objective 2. Improve access to finance across the value chain. Objective 3. Improve market intelligence of all enterprises and all stakeholders. Objective 4. Improve quality and collection system of hides and skins. Objective 5. Improve value addition and output through training and establishment of clusters.
The major constraint that has been identified is the availability of affordable credit. Banks in Zimbabwe currently are facing a very serious liquidity shortage, and also the issue of high interest rates. The leather fund is a very important intervention in the strategy. It is going to complement what banks are currently doing in terms of financing the sector. The fund is going to provide long-term funding. The fund will also provide technical assistance to the beneficiary companies, and it will also contribute to improved corporate governance. The fund will raise capital from basically three sources: from the public sector, from the private sector, and from the donor community. Basically, the fund is a venture capital fund to invest in viable companies. Then after a certain period, the owners of the companies will be allowed to buy out the fund. For the small companies, credit component as well that the fund will be able to provide.
The strategy's expected impact is to increase total sector's revenues up to $116 million and total sector's contribution up to $45 million by 2017. In the longer term, the strategy is expected to foster employment creation and income generation through the deliberate support of micro, small and medium enterprises.
Our relationship with BATA is growing bigger and bigger because as we speak today, we have got a plan, and we would need a situation whereby we would mold our own soles. We would cut our own uppers, we stitch them together, we complete the whole shoe at Rutsara Shoe Company, and some of the shoes will supply BATA, some of them we can sell to individuals.
Okay, my name is Vincent Mrewi. The company name is Gemini Leather Crafters. I'm working with my wife and another two guys. We produce leather belts, sandals, handbags, and backpacks. I participate in the Ethiopian International Fair. What I found out there that Ethiopians, they are being given much support, especially from their government. And also the SMEs of Ethiopia, they were combined together so that they are working on one place. You don't have to move from town to come to look for the SMEs. You just want to go, who is doing belts, who is doing sandals, in the same compound. I would like to thank COMESA for what they are doing to us, because if it was not for COMESA, I think I would not even accomplished my mission. Yes, I was into leather, but I didn't know that there's big into leather.
COMESA, I think they've been very active, very supportive on a regional level. They've managed to integrate the industry, but I think maybe more relationships between the different countries in the tanning industries could be of benefit to help each other where our witnesses are. Because as much as you can rely on overseas assistance, but in Africa it's a different way of tanning, and we have different problems which we can relate to each other on a more even level.
The development of the leather sector strategy was facilitated by the Government of Zimbabwe with the technical support of COMESA and the International Trade Center under the Program for Building African Capacity for Trade, funded by the Canadian International Development Agency.
ITC's role in this sector development strategy has been to work side by side with the Zimbabwean government together with the COMESA Secretariat in facilitating the process, in ensuring that the right market information, the right sector expertise was provided to the private sector actors so that they themselves could better decide what were their priorities in terms of moving the sector forward.
Zimbabwe has crossed a very important line where they put their objectives, their vision and mission into a perspective called a strategy. It realigned itself into their own national policies, which means it's relevant to their national development. And they have realigned it with the regional strategy, which then gives us LLPI the bridge with their implementation.
The Zimbabwe Leather Value Strategy takes place at an opportune time when regional integration is occupying the center stage as one of the key economic strategies and a rallying point for the development of the African continent.
The strategy constitutes a private-public platform for action and is aligned to the industrial development policy and the national trade policy, which are also in line with the Ministry's mandate under the medium-term plan 2011 to 2015. The leather strategy provides a clear roadmap resulting from agreements between each of the value chain stages. It is my pleasure to declare the National Leather Sector Development Strategy officially launched.
The International Trade Centre. Export Impact for Good.